up as a kid. All a nigga wanna have was a Burberry scarf and $3 in my pocket. Instead I got beat with a switch, but I don't give a fuck, but it's on my body. Scars all up on me, but I run around from.
What can Denver Broncos fans expect from new offensive coordinator Pat Shurmur? Now, Pat Shurmur is one of the best offensive coordinators in the NFL. Now, Pat Shurmur was the former head coach for the New York Giants. He got fired recently from New York, and he didn't really do a good job. He's not really a good head coach. Not only did he fail with the New York Giants, but he also failed with the Cleveland Browns a couple of years back. But despite him not being a good head coach, he is one of the best offensive coordinators in the NFL. Nobody gets the most out of their quarterback than Pat Shurmur. Pat Shurmur has an incredible track record with quarterbacks, especially young quarterbacks. When you look at what he did all the way back when he was the offensive coordinator for the St. Louis Rams, now they're known as the Los Angeles Rams, he helped Sam Bradford become Offensive Rookie of the Year. Not only that, but he had a pretty significant turnaround with that St. Louis Rams offense that prior to his arrival of him becoming the offensive coordinator for the St. Louis Rams, they had a pretty lackluster offense. He came in there, he pretty much turned that offense around. Then in 2013 and 2015, he was offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles under Chip Kelly, and one of his best jobs was with Nick Foles in 2013. Nick Foles in 2013, not only was he a Pro Bowler, but he had one of the best touchdown to interception ratios in the history of the NFL, throwing 27 touchdowns and only 2 interceptions. That's one of the best TD, INT ratios in the history of the NFL. Then, in my opinion, his best job came when he was the offensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings in 2017, when the Minnesota Vikings, led by Case Keenum, went to the NFC Championship game that year. And Case Keenum was very proficient under Pat Shurmur. He had 3,547 passing yards. He had 22 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. And Pat Shurmur ended up being NFL Assistant Coach of the Year in 2017. His work with that Minnesota Vikings 2017 offense with Case Keenum at quarterback was a big reason why he ended up getting that New York Giants job. Now, despite him not really doing a great job with the New York Giants, I feel that he did a really good job with Daniel Jones. And that goes to my point. No, I feel like no offensive coordinator gets the most out of young quarterbacks than Pat Shurmur. His track record says it. Look what he did with Sam Bradford his rookie season. Look what he did with Nick Foles his second year in the NFL. He was a Pro Bowler. Look what he did with Daniel Jones. A lot of people did not expect Daniel Jones to be that good last season for the New York Giants. Now, of course, Daniel Jones has a lot of things that he has to work on, but when you think about what was the expectations for Daniel Jones when he first got drafted by the New York Giants, a lot of people were saying that Daniel Jones was going to be a bust, and I'm saying a lot of people, you got to look, man, Pat Shurmur's the offensive coordinator. He's pretty good with young quarterbacks, and also got to look at this. Daniel Jones played at Duke. If you're able to win at Duke and you're able to win with less talent, I think being able to win with less talent in college football is going to help you be better equipped to play in the NFL, because you're going to be used to working with not having a lot of talent. I think that's something that really benefits a lot of young quarterbacks when they come from smaller schools like Daniel Jones coming out of the Duke. That's why I really felt like Daniel Jones was going to have a really solid rookie year, and everybody ended up getting on me about it. Everybody said that I was going to be wrong. I didn't know what I was talking about, and then Daniel Jones ends up having a really phenomenal rookie season. So Pat Shurmur is really good when it comes to young quarterbacks. And I think this was a big reason why he ended up choosing the offensive coordinator job for the Denver Broncos, because I really think that he couldn't really pass up on the opportunity to work with Drew Lock. Like, Drew Lock had a really incredible 5-game stretch with the Denver Broncos. They only lost 1 game, and that was to the defending Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. So I'm really interested to see what Pat Shurmur is going to do with Drew Lock. And what Pat Shurmur brings is not only are you getting a guy that's really good and working with young quarterbacks, but you're going to get a guy who, in my opinion, I think is really going to put a pretty strong emphasis on running the football. Like, a lot of people were really shocked at the fact that the Denver Broncos went ahead and they signed Melvin Gordon in free agency, and a lot of Broncos fans, myself included, were like, why would they sign Melvin Gordon? Well, a big reason for that is because Pat Shurmur's a guy who likes to have a little bit of a two-headed monster at the halfback position. Now you have that when you have Melvin Gordon and you have Phillip Lindsay. So he's really going to find ways to get those two guys involved. Then you also got to look at what he has to work with on the outside. He has Courtland Sutton, who was a Pro Bowler last year, who should have made the NFL Top 100. I don't know how he didn't make the NFL Top 100, but whatever. Then you have Jerry Jeudy, who is one of the best route runners to ever enter the NFL coming out of college. Then you're also going to have rookie KJ Hamler. You also got Noah Fant, who was the best rookie tight end last season. And the only question with the Denver Broncos is going to be their offensive line. Now, one of their starting offensive linemen chose to opt out for this upcoming year's NFL season, so that doesn't help their case neither. But overall, I'm really intrigued and really excited about what Pat Shurmur brings to the Denver Broncos. What Pat Shurmur is bringing as offensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos, you're getting a guy who is basically a quarterback guru. He gets the most out of every quarterback that he plays with. I mean, look, he got the most out of Case Keenum. Like, Case Keenum was no more than a journeyman before he was the starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. Now, I don't really know if the narrative really changed after that, but a lot of people kind of garnered a little bit more respect for Case Keenum, especially considering what he did with that 2017 Minnesota Vikings team, especially with Pat Shurmur as the offensive coordinator. So you're getting a guy who, in my opinion, is the definition of a quarterback guru. Like, a lot of people have the tag as the quarterback whisperer, as a quarterback guru, but I don't really see it. They don't really have as good of a track record as Pat Shurmur has. So when you look at offensive coordinators in the NFL that have the best resume, Pat Shurmur will be in that discussion. It's a big reason why he has been NFL head coach twice. He was the head coach for the Cleveland Browns. He was the head coach for the New York Giants. So, I mean, Pat Shurmur is going to bring the most out of Drew Lock. And if you're a Denver Broncos fan, I mean, hiring offensive coordinator Pat Shurmur was the best thing that could happen for Drew Lock and his Denver Broncos offense. Now, I don't know what happened with the Denver Broncos offensive coordinator last year, but apparently they figured that Pat Shurmur was an upgrade and they brought him in. And I believe that this Denver Broncos offense can be really solid with Pat Shurmur calling the plays. Now, my question is, how long is it going to take Pat Shurmur and this whole entire Denver Broncos offense to gel? Because when it comes with a new offensive coordinator, it's kind of a new system and things like that. With the ongoing pandemic, you know, how long is it going to take for the Denver Broncos offense to get that chemistry, get that rhythm, and get that timing going, which is something that really kind of halted Drew Lock during his couple of games starting in the NFL. So, overall, the Denver Broncos, if you're a Denver Broncos fan, you should be really excited about this Denver Broncos team going into the 2020 NFL season. I mean, you're going to have a great defense. Then you're going to have a really solid offense, especially with Pat Shurmur calling the plays. So what you can expect out of Pat Shurmur, you can expect a guy that is a really solid play caller, and he's really good at developing young quarterbacks. So, I mean, I'm really excited with what Pat Shurmur can do with this Denver Broncos team, and you should be too.